Greetings, good people. I hope all is going well for you. So, I came across a statistic and I just had to share it with you. And that statistic said that 60% of the average person's day is consumed by working on work. So, when they talked about this, they were talking about, of course, the time that we spend at work, but that also included the time that we spent getting to and from work, the time that we spent preparing for work, as well as things such as thinking about work related items. So ultimately, when we're going to work, we're working to make money, and they included things like paying the bills, things like thinking about what's happening at work, and that consisted of 60% of the average person's day, which is over half of someone's day. And it doesn't even include the time that we take to sleep. So this was really highlighted for me. And I thought that, when we talk about work, what it really boils down to is that we are exchanging our time for money. Work, or a 9 to 5, the conventional way, is one of the lowest forms of leverage when we think about how to generate or create money. And in that sense, we become servants to money, where the majority of our day is consumed with making money or thinking about money. But yet, we don't have the tools or the various principles to flip that on its head and make it where money is serving us, where money is serving our highest good, or utilized as a tool to do those things that we want to do during our time, aka our life. So, what I have found and what I like to talk about on this channel are the different principles that I see in Odu Ifa that teach us about wealth creation, that teach us about how to do business and make money. So one of those principles, or a few of those principles that I found, I want to share with you today. And it comes from the Odu Ifa Iwuri Otuapan. And in this Odu Ifa, there is a verse that talks about a time when Orunmila wanted to purchase a woman from the market. So before Orunmila went to the market, Orunmila consulted the wise one. He consulted Ifa, and Ifa told him that he should make sacrifice. Now, this is one of those rare occasions where Orunmila does not make the sacrifice. Orunmila goes to the market, he purchases a woman, and brings her back home. It's within a few days that this woman dies. So Orunmila is definitely saddened and is grieving. During this time, Eshu, one of his close friends, visits him. When Eshu visits him, he asks Orunmila, "Why is your house full of mourning? Why is there sadness everywhere?" And Orunmila tells him about what happened with the woman, and that he purchased this woman and that she subsequently died within a few days. Eshu asks Orunmila, "Well, did you make the sacrifice?" Orunmila is truthful and says no, he did not. So Eshu urges him to immediately make the sacrifice, to which at this time Orunmila complies. After Orunmila makes the sacrifice, Eshu hops into action. He clothes the woman in very, very beautiful and attractive clothing. He makes the woman up to where she looks attractive. She looks vibrant. He takes the woman to the marketplace. He sets up a vending stall for the woman. He places a table with all different types of merchandise in front of the woman, and he places her in a chair behind this table. It's during this time that Orisha Ajeh, the divinity of wealth and prosperity, is coming to this same market. She's coming along with 200 of her servants as well. When she sees the stall, she's intrigued and she goes over and looks at the different items that have been placed on the table. One of those items catches her eye and she asks the woman, "How much?" To which, of course, the woman does not reply. She asks again, "How much?" And the woman still doesn't reply. Orisha Ajeh composes herself. She raises her voice a tad bit. "How much?" And still the woman doesn't comply. Orisha Ajeh in haste picks up a piece of wood that is right there and knocks the woman on the head. The corpse falls over to the ground, and Eshu, who is nearby, rushes over and tells Orisha Ajeh, "You have just killed one of Orunmila's servants. You have to come with me back to Orunmila's house so that we can make this right." When they get to Orunmila's house, Orisha J offers one of her servants in exchange for Orumila's servant. Eshu tells Orunmila not to accept that deal. Orisha J offers two of her servants in exchange for the one servant of Orunmila's. Still, Eshu tells Orunmila not to accept that deal. Orisha Ajay offers 3, 4, 5, all the way up to all 200 of her servants. Still, Eshu tells Orunmila not to accept that deal. He tells Orisha Ajay, Eshu does, Orisha Ajay, you have to stay here in the home with Orunmila, along with your other 200 servants, and you all must serve Orunmila. Orisha Ajay agrees. This is how Orisha Ajay, the divinity of wealth and prosperity, becomes the servant of Orunmila. Aboru Aboye. We give thanks for the wisdom of Ifa. So there are many wealth principles and business principles that I see within this verse of Odu Ifa, but I'll just share a few of them right now. So first, when we see Orunmila going to the marketplace, Orunmila does immediately consult wise counsel. He goes to look for good advice. And when giving good advice, when giving wise counsel, Orunmila does not heed the good advice or the wise counsel. He storms ahead, goes to the market, makes the purchase. So the wisdom that I see within this, the principles that I see within this, is that this really highlights for me the 60% of average people, or the 60% of the day that is spent by average people working on work. A lot of times we're going into the marketplace, we're going into the workforce, and we aren't using good advice. We're not following wise counsel, and we're sort of just trying to use brute force, or we're sort of just trying to use the information that we have at the available to us at the time. And when we go to the workforce, most of the times that's what we're trying to do. We're trying, just like Orunmila, we're trying to make money for our families. We're trying to make money for our girlfriend, our boyfriend. We're trying to make money simply just so that we have those things that we want. We have those things that we need. And I heard a saying one time that said, you never find someone as put together and as gung-ho as you find them on the interview day. So we might remember ourselves going to an interview and we're promising to show up early. We're promising to stay late. We're promising to be a team player and to do whatever it takes to get the job done, not only right, but exceptionally well. And then just as with Orunmila, when the woman dies shortly thereafter, so does our gung-ho-ness, so does our initiative. So that we find ourselves after a short time, we receive a couple paychecks, and the next thing you know, now we have a problem with our coworkers. Now we have all types of excuses and reasons why we want to show up late, or we want to call in late to say that we're not going to show up at all. There's all types of reasons why we feel like we're not getting paid enough for all the things that we're being asked to do at this job. So that was one of the first things that came to mind when I thought about this verse. Next, we have Eshu that comes to visit Orunmila. And Eshu recognizes this disgruntledness, this frustration with the current situation, the current monetary situation of his friend Orunmila. And he gives him again wise counsel. He gives him again good advice and tells him, you must immediately make the sacrifice, to which Orunmila complies this time. So sometimes we may not hear the good counsel the first time. We might not be able to take the good advice the first time. But after we hear it a few times, then we're able to implement it. And this good advice, this wise counsel that I'm talking about, is sometimes we look at investing in ourselves. Sometimes we look at taking the time out to learn different investment strategies or different ways to structure our business, different ways to make money as a lost cause. We're afraid sometimes to take risks. And then sometimes it just takes a good friend. It takes someone close to us to help us to see that maybe pausing on our subscription and utilizing that money to get our LLC, or utilizing that money to invest in a course where we're able to learn different types of financial literacy so that later on we can make money from it, is a good investment, is the best choice for us. Sometimes we have to parlay watching movies and chilling, and we have to actually put the effort into learning something new. So it's at this time that Orunmila complies. Now, if there's no part of this that you're able to come away with something from, I really hope that it is this part right here. What we see that Eshu does is Eshu takes a corpse to the marketplace. In the first place, Orunmila went to the marketplace himself. So this wealth principle teaches me that it's not always the harder you work. Actually, those people who work really, really hard aren't the ones that earn the most, aren't the ones that are making the most money. It is those who understand different wealth principles, who have a certain level of financial literacy, that know how to create an environment that attracts money, that attracts wealth, abundance, and prosperity. And it's not them that is actually showing up and putting in the work. So that is the wealth principle, one of the keys that I found in this verse, where Eshu dresses the woman up. Eshu makes the woman look attractive. So when we think about creating our LLC, starting our businesses, whether that's a brick and mortar business, whether that's an online business, we want to make it look attractive to our customer, to our clients, to whoever it is that we are trying to serve with our business. Even when we are making investments, we want to look for strategies or structure our investments in a way where it is attractive, where it will effortlessly bring in money. So that is what I really see as a key point in this verse, of creating different structures, having various strategies that will attract abundance, that will attract wealth. And then when I see that Orisha Ajay came to the market with 200 servants, this is also pointing to me that there are people that already are serving Orisha Ajay. So I know from personal experience that there are some CPAs that they live for crunching the numbers. If they couldn't crunch the numbers, it would make them mourn. It would make them sad during the day. So there are people in the marketplace. There are people out here already that are serving Orisha Ajay. Maybe they're exchanging their time for money, but they love how they're spending their time. That is exactly how they would spend their time if they didn't have that job. They would still be crunching the numbers. So it is important that we are able to find those people and that we are able to delegate certain tasks. Those things that we don't want to do, there is somebody out there that is their purpose in life to do. And we have to be able to find them, be conscious and open to the opportunities to working with them so that we get a win-win-win situation. So after Orunmila, or after Eshu dresses this woman up, and Orisha Ajay subsequently believes that she is the one who has killed this woman. What this represents to me is being able to reach out and to grab the wealth. So a lot of times people talk about what they make, but it is the Dr. Dennis Kimbrough that tells us it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So in this sense, Eshu created an environment where Orunmila could keep the money that he made. So it's not just enough to be a high earner. It's not just enough to make a lot on your business, because you can be selling a lot on your business, but if your margins are really small, then you're not keeping a lot of what you sell. And then that brings me to my next point, or the next principle that I saw. And that was where Orisha Ajay offered one servant. Eshu said, no, that's not a good deal. She offered 2, she offered 3, she offered all 200, and Eshu said, no, that's not a good deal. I encourage all of you that are listening, don't play small. Don't go for the little thing. Try to envision greatness for yourself. Try to envision how big whatever service you're providing, whatever business you have, product that you're selling, how big it can be, how great it can be. Meaning that sometimes we might see these different strategies that are telling us to sell these things, right? But when we sell the high ticket item that is worth $10,000 and we're making 10% on it, that is a lot more money than if you're making 30% on the $1.99 item. How many $1.99 items at 30% margin do you have to sell to get to that one sale of 10% of $10,000? So a lot of times when we play small, we're exerting a lot of effort for a little bit of reward. And that's the principle that I see where Eshu was telling Orunmila, no, don't accept the small thing. I hope that these principles of wealth and business that I have shared with you today, that they will help you to flip that statistic on its head so that you are not serving money and money is serving you and your greatest good and your highest potential. So soon I'll be putting out a course that will help you with some of these strategies. So I encourage you to like this video, to subscribe to my channel, so that when I do come out with the course, when we do get that in place, that you'll be the first to be notified.